Welcome to the Luna Lab. I'm your host, Luna Leo, and I'm exploring what the hell is going on in this tech-saturated world I've been born into. Why all of my friendships manage through social media? Why am I addicted to my phone? In this podcast, I'll investigate these questions and beyond. So turn off your apps, turn on your brains, and join me in the Luna Lab. We often hear the phrase, we need more women and girls in STEM. Whether it's in new articles or conferences from credible individuals. But why is everyone saying this? Why is the ratio between girls and boys in STEM so far away from being 1-to-1? And how far away are we from achieving this golden ratio? According to the 2018 Tall-Bay survey from the Computing Research Association, the average computer science department in the United States is 79.1% male and 20.9% female. And unfortunately, it's not like we have a switch that we can flip to decrease this gap. My first answer to the question is the lack of opportunity to try it out. I, for one, am lucky because even at an all-girls private school, my cohort was privileged enough to be the first grade to have programming courses as early on as grade 8, as complementary to our ethics elective. Sadly, most students chose to take this elective not because they were interested in programming, but because no one wanted to take band. Which was the other option. And now, as I'm writing this episode, I understand why programming and ethics are linked together, because there are countless ethical dilemmas in the technology world. However, we never talked about this in our ethics class. Instead, we focused on government's decisions, and the only time I've ever had a conversation about the ethics of the tech world was this year in my English class, where I realized how little my peers knew about the power of these companies, because during our discussion about the addiction of technology, everyone said something around the lines of, quote, "the ads we see are specifically designed for us," unquote. But we should all know that the way in which technology influences our daily lives extends beyond advertisements and Google's algorithms. And as we grew older, the number of peers in my programming course kept on decreasing. Now in grade 11, there are only 4 of us. Furthermore, we were originally not even going to have the option to take a programming class this year. There's also more negative connotations and stereotyping around STEM and commitment to STEM. When I go to club meetings and finish assignments during lunch, my friends jokingly say, "Wow, such a nerd." Although I know they're saying it jokingly, it sometimes does make me self-conscious. This also illustrates how the girls at my school unconsciously associate programming-related activities to having a pimple or wearing too much eyeshadow. In case you're not familiar with teenage girls' daily troubles, these are serious issues. I think this can be attributed to the lack of exposure my peers have to STEM. If anyone mentions STEM, they just think of the typical Hollywood film nerd. Whereas the all-boys school down the street, which is just as steeped in privilege and uniforms as my school, does not experience any of this. They offer 12 different STEM classes throughout high school, whereas my school only offers 5. They also have around 40 students going to STEM majors in university and post-secondary, while there are only around 15 at my school. And why is this? It's because they offer a wide variety of STEM courses from grades 8 to 12, and have a fusion program which is for students who want to further explore STEM, which students have to fight to apply for, and often have problems picking a course they want to take. Additionally, the school is also on the board for the Canadian Computing Contest, hosted by the University of Waterloo. Both of these factors show how they provide their students with numerous opportunities to explore different areas of STEM, and how there is a different tone towards participation in these activities. The immense amount of encouragement stemming from, no pun intended, the wide range of opportunities creates a different culture and way of thinking. And if the student likes it, they already have a path of courses and opportunities they can utilize to further explore their curiosities, whereas at my school, we have to fight for the possibility to take higher-level programming courses. Moreover, throughout the past years of attending hackathons, it's quite obvious that the ratio is far from being equal. And according to the statistics released on Major League Hacking's, also known as MLH's website, 73% of their attendees are male, 24% are female, and 3% are other or non-binary. But when I attended a hackathon called Hack the North this year, I noticed there was a much stronger female participation. Although the ratio was not 1-to-1, the difference was the smallest I had seen in my other 10 hackathon experiences. So I was eager to learn how this was possible, and when I reached out to learn, I found that both of the co-directors were female, which may explain why Hack North was able to do so. Hi Jessica, thank you so much for joining me today. Can you please introduce yourself?
It's nice to meet you, by the way. I'm Jessica. So I guess quick intro. I already told you I'm Jessica. I am a second year computer engineering student at U Waterloo. And this is my second year on the Hack North team. So last year I was a logistics organizer. This is my first year as co-director. So if you have any questions about like the non-logistical aspects of the event, the sponsorship, platform, etc., I'll do my best to answer. But yeah, still learning a lot of things myself.
I've noticed that Hack the North has a lot more female attendees when compared to other hackathons. And I'm wondering if you guys have a quota when admitting attendees to the event.
So we do not have any quotas for our admissions. So we don't say that we need a certain percentage for like a certain percentage of female or non-binary hackers. So we try to hit it a little bit earlier in the pipeline of like reaching out to organizations and like making sure that our application is equitable for both like all genders. Yeah.
What tips do you have when it comes to making the hackathon environment more inclusive for everyone?
So I think inclusivity comes down to a lot of little things. So there's not one big thing that like if you do it, you've made an inclusive environment. It's kind of like attacking it from like making sure that you're putting diversity, equity, and inclusion into a lot of the like different things that go on in your hackathon. So for one, is using inclusive language. So we use a software, can't remember the name right now, but if you Google like inclusive language checker, you'll be able to find it, to make sure that our advertising and our postings and our application questions have like gender neutral language. So it isn't like, our application doesn't focus on more like masculine, like words and terms that appeal more to men than to women. So things like cutting edge or like innovate and like challenging environment, all have like in terms of job postings have seen higher male applicants than female applicants because the traits that those words like refer to are more masculine. So things like that. Also, I think it's mostly just a lot of research and understanding how you can make an environment feel inclusive. So like another example is like technical jargon. So a lot of like a phenomenon within like women in tech is feeling a lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of feeling like, oh, do I deserve to be here? Should I even apply? So like in the workshops, making sure that like when you have workshop leads, just giving them a quick brief of like, hey, like please explain any of the jargon that you use. Please use gender neutral language when you're presenting. If possible, like take questions, introduce yourself, introduce your pronouns, etc., etc. Yeah.
In Simon Fraser University's Social Sciences Journal, there's an article that discusses the importance of inclusive language in the applied science academic environments. The article specifically warns employers from using terms such as guys, girls, bossy, and strict gender pronouns as a means of improving inclusivity. The word guys is said to be offensive to women because it means men, although we have made the word more slang to refer to a group of people that includes women and all individuals who may not be defined as either man or woman. It's not gender neutral and may make workers feel excluded. Thus, male-dominated industries are trying to use words like everybody or people. Additionally, the article describes how women should not be referred to as bossy at work because it is, quote, belittling and offensive, unquote. However, this tactic that may seem a step in the right direction to increase the number of women in tech is just a tool. It's easy to do and has been around for a while now, and the numbers haven't changed much. Moreover, another way that the tech community is trying to solve the large gap between the different genders is informing the public what they can do to increase inclusivity. For example, Google has the Guidance Developer Console on how to write inclusive documentation, which is under the General Principles category. This further demonstrates that industries and employers are also hopping on this trend of ensuring that the language used in their communities are inclusive and safe for everyone. Google's main guidelines include ways to avoid unnecessary gender language and encourages them teaching users diverse and inclusive language in apps. Google isn't the only company that's making their apps more user-friendly and inclusive. They're merely setting an example for all other companies specialized in tech. The topic of making everyone feel included used to be something that only smaller companies focused on, because they wanted to attract more employees through specializing their services and fulfilling their corporate social responsibilities. However, it seems that more and more large companies are also advocating for inclusive language now, as a means of increasing inclusivity in the tech sector. Is this because they truly believe in it, or is it simply because it's the hottest topic in society right now? Or are they just doing it to not feel outdated and be blamed for not doing it? The new norm in every industry is now shifting towards using inclusive language to make everyone feel at ease in their workshops or learning environments. And this is a useful tool, but it's simply not the sole cause nor the one solution. And this tool comes with super high stakes, because the other side of the blade is attacking people who don't use this. But should companies be blamed for not taking on the same tactics and strategies as everyone else? And should companies be praised for their marketing stunts? Or do they truly believe using inclusive language resolves the social issue of gender gaps in the tech industry? What do you believe to be an actual solution? And whose responsibility should it be? You've reached the end of another episode of the Luna Lab. For more information, please check out lunalabpodcast.com and follow me on Instagram at lunalab.podcast.